Exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets, and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
All right, Tommy, we made it to Friday. Yesterday was pre-Friday, which we celebrate anyways. But
we do.
Today's Friday and a long weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
That's right.
Which obviously, I know we kind of look at it. It's always like, oh, beaches and cookouts and pool days and all the fun stuff. But I don't want people to forget what we have Memorial Day for. It's really, it's a really important thing to a lot of people, especially if you have family members that have served. But so I always like to take a minute and say, just remember when we're talking about the lives we've lost and the freedom we have because of it. And then so honoring those people, but also thanking the veterans and active duty members.
Yeah, I think, look, when you're out there enjoying your fun time on the beach, on the golf course, whatever, you think to, hey, listen, if it weren't for those people, those men and women that gave up their lives. I mean, look, it's the ultimate sacrifice here on earth. I mean, to give up your life for your country, or for anybody or anything, is the ultimate sacrifice. And to do it for your country's freedom that allows us to even have this show. Yep. Like, think about that. Where does that rank? That ranks way the bump up there for me. You know what I mean? You talk about bravery, you talk about courage, just love of country. Listen, I remember when I was 15, I was a sophomore in high school. So my brother Bob had already been in the Air Force for about a year. My brother Mike was going to go to a Northern Illinois the next year. I think I was going into my junior year. He said, look, you got two options. You either work your butt off and try to get a scholarship. I think you could. I'm not. He's like, I'm not saying you're going to the top school, but you've got enough talent to go somewhere. Maybe you can get a scholarship, or you go into the service. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going into the service. I'm going to go play football or something, figure that out. But so much respect. Yeah. I mean, I've told my dad's story a million times. He did not die, while serving, but served, was a prisoner of war for 11 months in World War II over in Germany, all that stuff. Just those men and women, and then the women today, the men today, and the families. It's really, to me, I always think about the families, like they, of course, the men and women who go fight, but the families that have to hold it all together back home. I always feel for them too, So yeah, cheers to just the past, present, the future, all the military men and women. We love you. It is the ultimate sacrifice for the families too. If you marry into it, you know the deal. You know the life, now, right? Yeah. You know the world now and what's going on. So and anybody that's newly going in, even more so. Yeah. Even more. Just goodness. That's just incredible that you're doing that with your life.
Yeah, and my grandpa, he was a Marine in the Vietnam, and he didn't talk about it much until he ended up getting cancer and passed away from cancer. But he didn't talk about it much until that time, and then opened up, towards the end of his life, a lot of the things that he saw and went through, and it's devastating. But he also loved what he did, and he was very, very. I mean, our family, when it comes to being patriotic, we'd listen to whatever songs were popular at the time about the American flag and your country. And so having that be a part of and being able to, again, honor the people that
you want to, if you feel far away from me, you want to get close, go watch Saving Private Ryan, that opening scene. That, I don't know if that's shot for shot real, but that's pretty depicted, pretty real. And that'll blow your mind away. That happened to people would blow, like, if you've never seen it, like, it's unbelievable. Yeah. It really,
is that your
truly
favorite one of, like, a military type movie?
I'd have to think about it. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones. But I do like that one. I have to think about that. Yeah. But yeah, that's a real good one. Yeah. Yes, and those stories, those are, my dad was a prisoner of war for 11 months, and he had to march in blizzard conditions for like weeks to get to another camp. Then they ended up in southern Germany, and then Patton's 3rd Armored Division liberated the camp. I mean, it was, he came home 120 pounds. He went in like 190. Wow. Yeah, and, he was a fullback linebacker playing college ball. So he finally got his weight back and went and Went and played 2 more years of college football.
It's
No
like,
big
let's
deal.
do it again.
Yeah, hey,
They
by the
did
way,
that back then.
yeah.
Go to war and then come back
They
and
came
play.
right back.
Yeah.
Came right back and helped
wild.
build our country.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And there's a lot to be celebrating. There's a lot of sports going on locally and nationally.
Yep.
Of course, the Jags with the OTAs, that's always good news. And I did get approval. Tuesday, I'm going to go out for a little bit, and then I'll haul ass back to the station.
So we'll get a little bit of tidbit
report
from you after that OTA, that first OTA, which I feel like to us always signifies, okay, football's back, even though it's not football games, but you finally get to see some sort of action on the football field.
Well, listen, the process is happening. You know, they're in their minds. They're thinking about who's going to be on this team, who is showing us that they're the kind of guy and the kind of player that we want. It's not a full evaluation until we get in the pads and all that kind of stuff, and even in preseason games. But that process is starting. So then, and as far as the team goes, look, the GM Baselli says it all the time. Hey, we're always looking. Who knows if we're going to upgrade here, or think we upgrade there, or find some more depth here, whatever the case may be. But you have your team, and now it's molding into the process of who's going to be on that active roster.
Yeah, the fit when it comes to, you do get a little, obviously on the field, some of the things, more so speed and, the conditioning and that type of thing is who you see is ready. But you also start to see the personalities and how those fit together. And we've talked about how important that is here.
And we will see, look, they're not hitting, but they go 11 on 11. There's a little physicality. The backs still have to make their cuts. You still got to try to get off your block and get to the ball. It's not like you just get blocked and stop. You know what I mean? It's not like you just stop when someone touches you. It's not freeze tag, for crying out loud. But you will see those kind of things. I mean, you'll see one-on-ones. You see competitive, like 7-on-7s.
Yeah.
You'll see some interceptions, see some touchdowns, So you'll see that kind of stuff. You just won't see full contact and full speed.
Well, yeah, and I feel like when you talk about some of the things that link to that last year that were some of the issues, we talked about it yesterday, Tommy, of all of the pre-snap penalties, some of those things, just the alignment assignment stuff, the drops were an issue last year, so you can see some, them being able to use the hands, and these two new tight ends that you've added, you get to see some of that, because what we have talked about so much is you haven't seen enough of Borkacher in college of how well he can catch and some of the things he can do. Get open. Yeah. So I think it will be, you see some of those things, and it's right now it is roster building and constructing, and you have a couple months to get to, down to that 52 where you need it. But this is where some of these guys are working to have a spot and find their place in the NFL. So it's kind of cool to just see it's the beginning for a lot of these guys.
For a lot of them it is. And then for the starters, it's, it's getting that timing down. The QB, then his targets, getting that timing down on the different routes where that ball is going to be. I think it'll be different this camp, because I think what we saw out of Trevor throwing that ball early before they're open, I think we'll see that early in camp. We didn't see that in camp.
We didn't,
There was, I take that back. There were
a few where we're like,
there were
oh,
a couple times where you're like, okay, that man, like he threw a couple out routes that were just absolutely beautiful in the right spot, on time, right as he turned, boom, right in his hand. So it wasn't like, not all the time, but I think consistently different throws. He is on the, he showed that he can throw it with anticipation, throw them open, they say. I never really believed in it's throwing them open. You're just throwing it to a spot and they're going to be there. You know what I mean? It might look like you're.
Both guys have to do the right thing.
At the right time.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, and I think that last year, this is also overreaction season, so I always remind people of that, because this is when you see somebody fumble or someone drop something or an overthrow or too many interceptions, and people start to panic a little, like, oh no, or are we regressing? And I think this is the point in time where there is a lot of newness and there's people battling for roster spots, but you're also still, there's a lot of things they're going to be working on, including, you're not going to Travis Hunter, Cole Van Lannon, Jordan Lewis, not going to see those guys. So you kind of wait until camp for that. So there's going to be some opportunity for some of these young guys when it comes to earning a spot. Did you see Todd Monken's comments on some of the issues when it comes to their quarterbacks turning the ball over so far in OTAs?
Yeah. It was this morning, right, when it came out?
So I saw yesterday the quote about it, because it was a 7-on-7 drill, and his quote made me laugh, though. He goes, "We threw interceptions in a 7-on-7, for God's sake." I mean, who does that? There's no pass rush. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. That is pretty. I mean, like not for his defense though.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
guess-
Maybe they made some good breaks on the ball, and or the ball got tipped, or
Yeah.
who knows? They bounce off, and then someone gets a pick. But yeah, at least he's being honest.
Yeah, he's like, this sucks.
He did say like the day before that Shador was coming on
Looking
mentally, like kind of getting it. It was interesting that he said that. So
Yeah, they added 2 new wide receivers, obviously, and Casey Concepcion, and
Yeah,
then
right.
also the Brax. What was his name? I can't remember his name right now. I just blanked on it. But both of those I've seen clips so far of making really good catches. So it's
Okay.
the big question is their quarterback. What does that look like? And
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about the NFL overall with Herm Edwards coming up.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
do think that's one of the more interesting battles, just because you have this. There's multiple guys in there, and I think
Yeah.
we've heard moments where Shador looked really good, and then it's Deshaun. And if Deshaun goes back to what we saw now, it's like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
But if you see
Right.
glimpses of that Deshaun, you saw
Yeah.
a really good quarterback for a period
Well,
of time.
look at Houston. I mean, their defense carried them, right?
Yeah.
Now, Cleveland's not Houston's defense, but kind of close.
Yeah, they're
I mean, they're
good.
top 5 at
Yeah.
least. So if they can, whoever quarterback it is, if they can figure that out, they will be a tough out in the AFC.
Yeah.
I mean, they will. I mean, it's just and
And
this
you got
kind
him week 1.
and you got a week
So
1.
that's
yeah.
one thing where it's almost
At home,
it
too.
could be good or bad. It could be good in the sense of their offense is not ready at all because they
Yeah.
do have this QB battle and they're kind of go and some young weapons they're counting on, or it could be you have no idea how to
it's
prepare
all
for this
newness.
offense because
Right.
you've never seen them.
Totally.
So that week 1 is going to be an interesting one. But if you are who you think you are, then you should win that.
Well,
football game.
regardless who the QB is, if you don't get to him, he's going to pick
Yeah.
you apart. It doesn't matter. I mean, they may miss a couple throws because of the rust and not doing it enough. The Browns QBs, whoever
Yeah.
that may be, but they'll still make more than they miss if you don't get to them.
Yeah. All right. Lauren Brooks is on vacation. She's taking a little extra long weekend, so I hope she's having a good time. We are going to talk to ESPN analyst Herm Edwards on the other side, talk about just some of the NFL topics going on. We'll get some
Yep.
Jaguar stuff. So that's coming up next here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Because upsets make life more interesting.
An instant classic.
1010XL.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the products and services, the best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Memorial Day. 0% financing available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway and tell them Prosser sent you.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Fred Taylor. If you've been in an auto accident, you need a team who knows how to get you back on your feet and back to your life. At North Florida Medical Center, they don't just treat the injury, they treat the whole person, from physical therapy to pain management. North Florida Medical Center has a team of experts ready to help you heal and recover. I trust the team here at North Florida Medical Center, and you can too. So don't wait. Call North Florida Medical Center and get the care you deserve.
Take a walk on the wild side and step into the great outdoors.
Look at this beast.
Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on the Nimnet Outdoors Show.
You got it.
On 1010XL.
The new MVP of lunch has arrived. Firehouse Subs Steak and Cheese Melt. USDA Choice Flame-Seared Steak, sauteed red and green bell peppers, caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and mayo on a toasted sub roll. Steak and Cheese Melt only at Firehouse Subs.
Hey there, poker players. The Poker Atlas Tour is bringing 7 action-packed poker events to Best Bet St. Augustine from June 18th to the 28th, including the $600 no-limit hold'em title event with a $200,000 guarantee. Plus, don't miss Event 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em tournament featuring a $100,000 guarantee. Satellites are happening now at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for tournament structures and all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
What if your next fun day out costs you $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jacks. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience, no problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Longer days, warmer nights, and a backyard that brings everyone together. Spring and summer in Florida means pool days, backyard barbecues, and night swims under the stars. Pickett here. For nearly 50 years, Surfside Pools have been creating the backdrops for life's best memories. From weekly service and repairs to remodels, commercial maintenance, and new pool construction, Surfside does it all. Ready to float happy? SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools. Summer starts here. License number CPC 044080. You know Zero Res. Hey, Hicken here. The Zero Residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt-attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys. And skip the DIY disasters that leave your carpets soaked for days. You can do more harm than good. Keep that mud outside where it belongs, not trapped in your carpets. This month, get 25% off all services. Hardwood, tile, LVP, carpets, air ducts, and more. Call 904-287-5727 or visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Mention me or ask for the 1010XL special.
Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence in Jacksonville, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Taylor Dahl here, Tom McManus here, RJ Saunders behind the board. And we're going to talk some NFL right now with ESPN analyst Herm Edwards. Herm, thanks so much for hopping on with us. We've had you quite a few times right now, so we appreciate your time as always.
Well, thank you. Obviously, the season, when you think about football, is year-round, but obviously the anticipation of the draft and then free agency, and now all of a sudden, you know, they're going to start these OTAs and things of that nature, so we're starting to get excited again.
Yeah, I said it on our last segment. It kind of feels like once OTAs are here, it does feel like football is back. Even though you're not getting actual games, you were at least getting some guys out on the football field, which is nice for those of us who just kind of live and breathe football and wait for that season. But I want to start here in Jacksonville before we get to kind of some of the topics around the league. And there's going to be some questions when it comes to position battles and all of that, as there are in all the camps around the league. But what, in your opinion, do you think is one of the bigger subject matters when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars this offseason?
Well, I think when you think about the Jacksonville Jaguars, the thing that comes to my mind, and I've said this numerous times, in the previous years, is that can they figure out how Trevor Lawrence can play up to his potential? Because that's critical, in my opinion. And that's anytime you have a franchise quarterback with his type of ability, and you kind of watch him come in the league, and then all of a sudden he hit a point to where it was like, what's wrong with the quarterback? I mean, why can't? And finally, he lived up to it a little bit. Can he continue to go at that level, an ascending level? Because at the end, you can play good defense. You can have this explosive offense, but how can the quarterback play? The consistency of the quarterback is critical for any team in the National Football League. And I think if he can play at a consistent level, this team can go as far as he can take them.
Herm, great to have you back on the program. We appreciate it. Like Taylor said, I keep hearing Houston, how good they're going to be. It looks like they're already kind of crowned. I know, listen, we won the division, but they won the playoff game. It was neck and neck last year. They did a lot in the offseason. We didn't do that much other than internally. How you feeling about the Houston Texans going into 26?
Well, the thing they march on the field with is one of the better defenses in the National Football League.
Yep.
And that always helps the quarterback. When you have a defense like that, just do the math. Let's just say generally in a game, not counting turnovers, you're probably going to possess the ball anywhere between 12 and 14 times. If it's a scoring game, you're going to get it 14. If not, you're probably going to get it 12 times, 6 times a half. But when you have a great defense, it basically eliminates the other team's offense, and all of a sudden you might get it 12 times. They might only get it 10 times, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they can do, because when you look at their team, I mean, let's be quite honest, that quarterback struggled
Yes.
at times. He had
Yes.
some games where you look at and you go, oh, man, what is he doing right now? And the defense kept him in the game, because they keep score down. I mean, when the defense can keep the score down, you'd be surprised how much less the pressure is on the quarterback to all of a sudden every other series try to score a point.
Yeah, I think the quarterback conversation is a big one in a lot of places. When you talk about a league right now with still veteran guys like Stafford, we just see a contract extension with him. Aaron Rodgers coming back to what he says is his final season. But a large group of guys right now, a large group of quarterbacks that are on that rookie contract in their first 4 years. And you're seeing a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot in that draft with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Drake May, that one alone. And then now you've kind of added to that in the past couple seasons. So what are your thoughts on that when it comes to the quarterbacks around the league and who you're excited to watch this year?
Well, I was a big fan of, obviously I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels because he played for me at Arizona State. When he got hurt, and all of a sudden Washington went from being a playoff team to like, oh boy, they're not very good. And I think people realize, you know what? When you have a good quarterback, you got a chance. I was a big believer a couple years ago when he was struggling of Caleb Williams, because I can remember when we played them, they were at SC when I was at Arizona State. You could watch him play then, and I was like, this kid's going to be a good player. He goes to Chicago, and obviously the first couple seasons, he struggled. And the fan base, because, I do a lot of radio stuff, as you guys know, I came on the Chicago station a couple times, and the fans were mad. We got a bus because they're looking at Jaden Daniels, and he's taking his team to the playoffs, and Chicago is getting beat up, right? And I said, look, sometimes it has something to do with the play caller, obviously, and how they run the offense. It's kind of interesting. They got a new head coach from Detroit. All of a sudden, the people in Chicago say, boy, this Caleb Williams is really good. Interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
It happens fast. It can switch very quickly.
I like Chicago. Yeah,
Okay.
I like Chicago.
Yeah.
I think they're an upcoming team. Detroit obviously went through the phase of losing 2 offense and a defensive coordinator. You saw that last year. But they're going to be competitive. Green Bay, all of a sudden this division's it's become a fun division. And Minnesota, they got a young quarterback. So, but I like Chicago. I do. I like those teams that traditionally, and Green Bay and Chicago are 2 of them, that when they came into fruition, way back even before I played, they were outdoor teams. They played outside. And it's cold. That becomes a factor when the leaves fall off the trees in November. And they're built that way. And so I kind of like those teams. Detroit's inside, obviously. We know that. I'm not saying that's taking anything away from them, but I like the teams that can play in elements.
Herm Edwards here with us, ESPN NFL analyst, of course, former college and head football coach, keeping it in the NFC. I mean, look, you look at the NFC North, you just mentioned it. NFC West as well looks to be strong once again. I don't know about the South and the East, other than maybe Philly. It just feels, and maybe Washington, like you're saying, doesn't feel like the NFC East is getting a lot of love just yet.
No, they're not. And, you can, because, look, Harbaugh all of a sudden goes to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
If he can tell the quarterback, hey, look, you're not a running back. When you leave the pocket, you can't run into people. Just slide and, go down. We know you're a tough guy. Yeah. So that's going to change. When you look at Harbaugh's history, Philly's Philly. I mean, they needed to upgrade their secondary. I think they've done that. And they got a quarterback that's very humble. He's one of the most humblest players in the league at playing a position where, he doesn't care. He just wants to play. Now, their Achilles heel is what they're going to do with A.J. Brown, right? There's some drama involved in this guy. He's a great player. I don't know if he's there. I think, at the end, he might be gone, right? We know what Washington is when they're healthy. So that division is going to be, a division that I played in for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
In my career in Philly. Dallas, can they upgrade their defense? Because people don't realize they had the number 1 offense in the league last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They was highest scoring offense in the league. They just couldn't stop anybody. They could score 31, but they'd give up 33.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What team you just mentioned, AJ Brown, and we were talking about that earlier earlier in the week. But when you talk about wide receivers right now, there's so many across the league that we praise. Obviously, Jackson Smith and Jigba getting a contract, Puka Nacua, Justin Jefferson's, Jamar Chase's, and here in Jacksonville, you feel like you have one of the better from top to bottom with Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, what he was able to do those pass catching rooms. Are there any for you that really stand out to just that next tier when it comes to pass catchers?
Well, I think all these guys, according to, they all have potential. I mean, this is why they get drafted high, and this is why they play well. And it has a lot to do with is the offense built around them. And will, in my opinion, I think the good offensive coordinators with some of these gifted receivers you just mentioned, how do you move them around? Are they able to go from Z to X, move them in the slot when you need that catch, you need the big play? How are you creating a formation that allows this guy to get one-on-one coverage, right? And that's the key to me. When you want to get a big-time receiver the ball, you got to have an offensive coordinator that understands, look, there's going to be situational football. I got to get this guy to the ball. I'm going to move him around. And the receiver has to be in tune to that, too. You can't just play one spot. I got to move you around a little bit so I can get you the ball.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's look at the AFC. The three teams that were not in the playoffs. Quarterbacks were hurt: Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Kansas City. Herm, who do you think's back in the playoffs this season out of those three teams?
Well, I'm never going to count Patrick Mahomes out.
Yep. Who would, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's just something. He's the wizard. He just finds a way and got a great coach. They're still, they've got a good football team, but you're right. They got hurt, and all of a sudden, they just came like everyone else. But when you think about those teams, that didn't make the playoffs, I always say this: when you look at last year, this is what makes the NFL so unique. Because people think they get it figured out. I'm the same way. I'm an analyst. You sit there. What teams you like this year? I go, okay. I say, well, the previous year before the Super Bowl, Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, they weren't even in the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. And so now Seattle wins the Super Bowl. You go, who would have thought that? Nobody. Yeah. That's what makes the league so unique. It's really a great league because as soon as you think you figured it out, you don't have it figured it out. As soon as you think you're pretty good as a team, and this is what coaches always worry about. Playoff teams that have been in the playoffs a couple of years, like San Francisco. All of a sudden, injuries hit them, and they didn't even look like the same team anymore. And so there's so many things that go into it. A healthy team. I always say this: can your quarterback play good? Then you got a chance, right? But that's what makes the league so great.
Yeah, you saw that a little bit the year before, too, with the Detroit Lions. They were just rolling, and then a lot of injuries piled up, and it just kind of fell apart in the postseason. Edwards joining us, ESPN analyst. Before we let you go, I wanted to just take a quick glance at this Jaguars schedule. They start the season with the Cleveland Browns, which right now, obviously, quarterback battle there. A lot of young guys that we just talked about, two of the wide receivers that they drafted this year to join Jerry Jeudy. But a stretch after that with the Broncos, the Patriots, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Texans. So a rough stretch when it comes to some of those teams that they're going to be facing in that first half of the season. But your thoughts on that and getting a quick start, the importance for the Jags this season?
Well, I think anytime you can get a quick start is very important. And the league is funny, and I used to say this when I was a coach. I used to tell our staff this: it's not who you play, it's how you play the day you play. That's important, and it's our job to prepare these guys to get ready to play. And you can't look at the schedule and how they finished last year. It has nothing to do with this year. I've always said this: good teams keep losing teams losing. You don't lose to losing teams if you're a playoff team and you want to be a good team. And that's all you talk about in the offseason. Your schedule's a schedule. But you look at the schedule when it comes out and you say, okay, you get with your staff and say, look, guys, these are teams we have to beat. If we want to go where we want to go, we have to beat losing teams. We can't lose to losing teams. I know it's a new season, but until they learn how to win, they're still a losing team.
Hey, Herm, real quick, you've been there and done that in this regard. What's the biggest challenge for Liam Cohen and his staff as they go into year two as the Jaguars head coach and staff?
How do you meet the expectations all of a sudden on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah.
Because trust me, where I work at the Worldwide Leader, let me tell you something now. There are certain teams every week I know we're going to talk about.
Yep.
And there are certain teams you don't hardly talk about. And it's funny because when I started working there, I said, you know what? The one thing I do know, whether they win or lose, we always talk about Dallas Cowboys. We just can't stop talking about these guys because of Jerry Jones. He's the best promoter in football. But if you're Jacksonville now, the fan base, they're excited. They've bought season tickets. The players are excited. Now the expectations have risen, and you're expected to do certain things. And the players got to realize that. And everybody plays you different. When teams have you on the schedule now, they go, we're playing Jacksonville, man. These dudes are playing. They're a good football team. So now all of a sudden teams they look at you different.
Yep.
Yeah, Jerry Jones told all of us he keeps himself into the news no matter what. So that's part of what happens with Dallas. But remember to joining us. Thank you so much, Irm. I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for your time as always.
Anytime. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good stuff there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun storylines, Tommy, when it comes to,
Yeah.
we only got to a tiny portion of all of the things that you could talk about in the NFL because, it changes every single offseason. But I think one of the interesting things with this one is the quarterbacks because you have QB battles around, certain places. You have those older guys like Aaron Rodgers who's saying it's his final season. You have a lot of young guys in obviously rookie season right now, but year two out in Arizona, Kyler in a different spot. So there's so much movement this season. It will be fun to keep that up. So as OTAs start, we'll get more and more information out of different camps for that. But let's get to let's keep it on that topic around the NFL a little bit. I have a couple clips or a clip that I do want to play of someone that you just brought up in that conversation, Tommy, and that's CJ Stroud. So we'll get to that on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts. It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, checked by Bowden Iron Associates.
This is Lauren Brooks, and I love our organized closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for every space and budget. Make an appointment today to tour their showroom on Phillips Highway and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. There's no better time than now to schedule your free consultation at 904-878-9393 or online closetsbydesign.com.
Dinner tonight? Make it easy and make it something everyone will love. With the Flame Broiler Family Meal Plan, you can feed 4 fast with fresh, flavorful options. You get 20 ounces of your choice of protein. Mix and match your favorites, plus steamed rice and a fresh veggie medley. It's a complete no-stress meal the whole family can agree on, starting at just $34.99. Skip the cooking tonight. Bring the family together and stop by any of Flame Broiler's 5 locations today.
It's time to fire up the grill with this week's specials from Houston's Meat Company. Get 10 pounds of fresh jumbo chicken wings for just $19.95. Fresh made in-house ground beef, only $3.99 a pound. And whole packed boneless ribeye loins, just $12.95 a pound, sliced free. Big quality, big savings, and local service you can count on. For over 50 years, Jacksonville's trusted butcher shop has been Houston's Meat Company, North Main Street at 295.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infinity is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infinity is inspected, factory backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship level service as a brand new Infinity? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfinity.com or visit Atlantic Infinity off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
Hey, Hicken here, and oh man, TopDressing.com came and hit my lawn with that deep aeration. I got to see their truck. Ooh, is that cool? It's like a transformer. Aerators rolling right off it. They punched the yard. They dropped their proprietary mix and cleaned up like they were never there. Next step, rich, green St. Augustine grass. If your lawn needs a real turnaround, call TopDressing.com today for your free estimate. They'll make your grass look like a golf course for real. Call today and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Just shriveling up. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this weekend at VyStar Ballpark. Join us tonight for a special UF Health Hat giveaway for EMS Appreciation Night with a Honey Dripper Sunshade giveaway from Arlington Toyota and VyStar on Saturday, and CSX Military Appreciation on Sunday with Catch on the Field and free face painting before the game on Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day at 6:35.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go. Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
Picken here. See clearly with the Eye Associates and trusted optometrists Zachary Boskool and Alice LaFlamme. From comprehensive eye exams, dry eye care, glaucoma management, diabetic eye care, and more, Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme are dedicated to protecting your vision. Immediate availability at all 5 Jacksonville locations. Schedule today with Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme by calling the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD at 296-0098.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
One thing we did not get to talk about at the top of the show so far, Tommy, is Kyle Busch. Very tragic when it comes to this. 41 years old, devastating. You're hearing some reports come out of something with a sinus infection that may have led to pneumonia, that may have led to sepsis, but very sudden and I know devastating for a lot of people. There's a lot. I mean, anytime something like this happens, but it's definitely somebody in the NASCAR world. We don't, you and I, we had a whole game where we tried to name NASCAR players, and the majority, we just don't live in that world. But Kyle Busch, I think anybody would be able to talk about who he is.
Feels like the race car world, man. They've had a lot of tragedy with their drivers. You know, Greg Biffle not too long ago trying to help people. You know, of course, Dale Earnhardt Sr. in that wreck and that death. Yeah, just so tragic. This one just seems like odd. Like, I don't know, with something happening before, and, you know, a lot of us, you know, especially men, we don't say anything. We're like, it's no big deal.
Or listen. I'm
spitting up blood. You know, no big deal. Give me something to wash it down with, and it'll be okay. You know, I don't know, but it's just sad that it happened. What a great driver. Yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
Quite the personality too, if you want to talk about.
Absolutely. You know what? And I was saying earlier on Jaguars Today off air, like, I remember, I think it was after his last truck race that he won, and they were interviewing him. Yeah. And I was like, oh, God. And then I saw the stat where, like, he's won more truck races than anybody.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Like, you know, and then I'm like, oh, these guys race trucks. They race anything.
Crazy.
They don't care. Like, give me a go-kart.
Something that can go fast, and they're there for
I get it. I get it. But, man, really sad news. Prayers for his family. And, man, just, Definitely. 41. That's young. Big time.
I wanted to talk a little bit. We mentioned in that last segment with Arm Edwards about the Texans, because we've seen some of the odds, and Lauren went through those earlier in the week, and the Texans are favored in 13 of their games this season. The Jags favored, and it was 8 or 9. I can't remember which one she said, but a good difference between the two teams. And we had that conversation on Monday of, you know, the whys of the conversation of why would they be favored in that many more games than the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we went back and forth with it, but I saw a clip, and it was Mina Kimes talking to Benjamin Solak, who obviously is a NFL analyst for the ESPN also, and then everybody knows Mina Kimes. But they were breaking down quarterback rankings in general. And so they get to number 12, and their 12th quarterback was CJ Stroud. And so they kind of go into some of the issues that Stroud has had, the little bit of a roller coaster, which you could say similar with Trevor Lawrence. You know, you've had the moments where slow start, then a really good end of the season and a start of the season, and then it fell off again, and then you have a not so good year, and then this year the beginning was a little slow, but by the end Trevor Lawrence was playing his best football by far in his career. And so I think CJ Stroud has had similar when it comes to kind of the ups and downs and trying to have that consistency. So you don't really know how to truly evaluate Stroud, in my opinion, because because if we're going to make, those excuses, reasons, whatever you want to call it for Trevor here in Jacksonville of, the offensive line struggles and not being able to run the ball and how much pressure that puts on quarterbacks or offensive play calling, all of those types of things, then you have to give the benefit of the doubt to some of the other quarterbacks. But I also think we saw a playoff, those playoff games where he turned the ball over 10 times, and you can't do that in the postseason. So I wanted to play this clip because it's Mina and Solak talking about CJ Stroud and what kind of expectations to have for him moving forward.
I think that Stroud's 2025 was a lot better than people realize. It is colored and tainted by how poor he was in the postseason. 10 turnovers in 2 games, terrible. If you look at it from an EPA per dropback perspective and a success rate perspective, Stroud had equivalent numbers in 2025 to his rookie season in 2023 when we all crowned him as the next guy. He's going to be the 5th best quarterback in the league for the next decade. In that rookie year, it was all about explosives, right? They were a play-action team. He was hitting the middle of the field hard, and they were creating these big gains. Not nearly as many explosives in this past season, but Nick Caley would ask him to do more in terms of, reading out quick game, half field stuff, getting to the correct IDs. And Stroud is an aggressive thrower. He throws on time between zones. He places the ball correctly. He asks his receivers to make big plays for him, and they've got the right bodies for that. Nico Collins, Jaden Hagan, some of these big cash guys. And so he will be consistently correct for you. He has a couple of games, like that Lions game sticks out, where like his head just really starts spinning. He unspools a little more quickly than you'd like him to. But in general, he is really, really consistent getting the ball where it's supposed to go on some of the basic half-field quick game stuff, and then on the more of the play-action shot play stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of when it comes to CJ Stroud, he talked about for him, it's a little different. He sees consistency, but just some really bad moments rather than just a whole bunch of inconsistency. When you look at his final 5 games, we've talked about Trevor's a lot. His final 5 games, he had 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions during that time. His 2 picks came against the Chargers. And so when you look at that stretch, he was playing really good football towards the end of the season too. The postseason, obviously not so much because he was turning over the ball so much. But it is that weird balance, Tommy, for a lot of quarterbacks, and we've talked about it with, Jameis Winston and early in his career, Jay Cutler's, Brett Favre, the guys that take a little bit more risk when they're throwing, and that turns into a lot of interceptions. But when they're on, they're on. So where do you find that balance?
Well, first of all, that guy lost me after EPA. No, I'm just kidding. But listen, his rating's pretty high. His QBR is pretty high. He's actually had the highest QBR that he's had. I think the Texans are smart on waiting on giving him a big deal. And just this is his year to figure out if he can be that consistent QB. And it's not just about the regular season, right? It's about the postseason as well. And I think that's what sits on everybody's mind. And let's be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not rewarded for yards and touchdowns and low interceptions. You're rewarded for clutch play in playoff games. I mean, look at Dak. I love Dak. I think Dak's an awesome QB, but he has never been clutch. Yeah. And I mean, it's not all his fault. I get that. But at the same time, what clutch is when it comes from a QB, and you got to be clutch at times. CJ Stroud hasn't shown that he can be clutch all the way, especially last year. I mean, those last 2 games, he was horrific. And not only that, he looked like he was either lost, not interested, or blaming everybody but himself. He kind of had this weird thing. I thought he grew out of that, because I felt like he had that coming in. Look, he was really cocky after his first year. And he had a great year. He was a phenomenal rookie QB in what he did, but he got a little cocky. He started naming himself top QB and all. Like, you're supposed to be humble. You're not supposed to be like, look at me, I'm the best, because you're not the best. There's plenty of other quarterbacks who are better than you, but he does have the tools to be really good. He does. He's smart. I think he sees the field pretty well. In his defense, look, by the way, everyone gives the Texans line a lot of grief. In 24, they gave up 52 sacks. They gave up 23. 23, that's nothing.
That's not.
That's one a game. But he must have been harassed. I know he's harassed in the playoffs.
Getting pushed out. He just was good at avoiding some, so he evaded. But still, you're cutting your sacks in half at that point in time. And I know early on in the league, in the season. So, for example, he got sacked, let's just say the first 6 weeks, because he also dealt with injury. He only played in 14 games last year.
True.
So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sacks in the first 6 weeks. In the final 6 weeks, he only had 4. So
Yeah,
the
right,
line got
right.
better.
And he got better.
And he got better.
Yeah.
And so, but that's also kind of when you talk about that, maybe part of it, when you're not getting sacked every other play, then you probably have a little more time to process and go through your reads and figure some of that stuff out. But one thing that also stuck out to me when he said, which I think I would argue a little bit in the sense of, he's like, everyone was kind of harsh on him this last season, but he had pretty much the same numbers. And when it comes to his rookie season, where everyone was praising him, the difference for that is that's your rookie season compared to year 3 in your NFL season. People would expect by year 3 for you to be better than you were your rookie season. If you were, he came out hot. He came out firing that rookie season. And so I think from there, expectations build from that. Trevor Lawrence had a terrible rookie season. There was a lot of factors into that, Urban Meyer being one of that. The coach didn't make it through the season. So expectations start a little lower when you are coming off a season you did to Trevor compared to how CJ Stroud's rookie season went.
Typically, like you're right, the third year is where you kind of figure out if you got the QB or not, or at least you think you do. It may not be set in stone yet, because a lot of times they do take the world by storm in that first year. Nobody's ready for them. They get hot and they get comfortable and everything's in place for them and things go great. And then that second year, they kind of figure them out.
Yep.
Interesting what Herm said. They look at us different now, and they do. They're gonna look at us more deeply and whatnot. But for quarterbacks, it's the same kind of thing. I always say, like, can that second year quarterback beat the game plan? Because now they've had all year to watch every NFL game that you've played in, and they've seen what you've done well, what you've done not so well, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. Do I keep them in the pocket, get them out of the pocket, aim, attack them from the right, attack them from the left, all these different things. And then they sometimes dip, not all. Justin Herbert in his second year didn't dip. He dipped in his third year, which was interesting. But so anyway, by that third, fourth year, you got to know, like, okay, is this my guy, right? So
yeah, and I think one of the things that teams are going to be coming into Jacksonville and looking more into is Trevor's ability to run. The year before, we talked about it so much of he was running from it was phantom pressures and running into guys and turning into the
same
defensive
move.
ends.
The same move.
And then this last year, obviously being able to use his legs, you saw his speed, you saw his physicality, you saw him be able to get those extra yards when he needed it. I think that's going to be one of the bigger things that teams are going to be watching. Okay, we need to try and keep Trevor in the pocket because he can take off and move just as well as a Bo Nix and a Caleb Williams at times.
He's deceptively fast, as we all know, and I credit Liam Cohen for telling him, look, you're a weapon.
Yeah.
Don't think just your arms are a weapon. Your feet are a weapon. And I listen, it doesn't matter what era, but even especially today, like, again, who cares how you get the first down? Who cares how you score?
Just get it.
Right. If I throw it, if I run for it, you know what I mean? It's still a positive play. It still keeps the momentum going. It still keeps the juices flowing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Instead of just standing
I feel like Trevor
there.
likes it, actually. He kind of wants, every time he gets hit a little hard, it just feels like it turns up a little, an extra notch for him. All right, we've got Tommy's take coming on the other side, so that's coming up next on Helmets and Heels.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Turn on your radio. We'll bring the game to you.
Here we go. 4th and a yard.
Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio. 1010 XL.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Imagine this. You've got the burgers ready in a backyard full of guests. And folks, that's a strong lineup. But a clogged drain on a holiday? That can change everything in a hurry. Before kickoff, make sure your plumbing is ready to go. Call Duck Duck Rooter. They've got experience, honest pricing, and a team you can count on. And right now, get your main sewer line cleaned, plus a camera inspection for just $129. Outside cleanout is required because the only thing you want overflowing this weekend is that cooler. So when you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality in Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trust a company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price. Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. Johns, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Summer and fall registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball, plus girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder. Fields and gyms all over the First Coast, including Fort Family Field. And the best thing is, I-9 Sports offers sports year-round, so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
You like this one, Tommy?
I know who's this one. This is a Taylor Doll special.
I don't know if this
can
is mine,
feel it.
actually, but I do like it.
It is good. It's not yours? I don't know if it's mine.
Sometimes I'll.
It's just an RJ. It's an RJ
It's an RJ
special.
song. Are you rocking out over
I
there?
like it, yeah.
I
mean, listen, I found it in the system. It's corn.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
I do like one of when it comes to baseball, which we obviously talk quite a bit on this show, especially now with some of the college baseball. But there is a player right now, one of the best relievers, who Mason Miller's his name, and his walk out, like his walk out to, you know, they do the big dramatic thing for those closers, and it's corn that he'll come out to. So like it gets pitch black in there, all of a sudden the lights turn off, and then it's like all this. It's wild. It honestly looks like it'd be kind of fun.
What would your
to go-
walkout song be?
So, I don't know.
You gotta have one.
I know. I would have to probably pick for something like that one of my heavy songs. I feel like it's just fitting because you want to intimidate the person at the plate. Like lights go off and some heavy metal song comes on.
I'd have to go Evil, like you got in that getting that mode. I'm coming to mow you down.
Yeah.
Hell's Bells from AC/DC.
Oh, that's good.
Satan is coming for you. You know what I mean? That's got to be a little, especially if you're good.
You're like standing at the plate.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're like,
God.
oh my gosh, this guy. Yeah, he's got little horns on his
Especially when you're
on his
good,
hat. Yeah,
because that
especially
just
when you're
triggers
good,
people. Like for this
Yeah.
guy, he's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball as a closer, and I mean, just imagine you're already scared of him because you're like, man, this man, he's just insane when it comes to when he's on the mound, and then that's his intro, so you hear it and you're like, oh no, here he comes.
Yeah,
Here he
it's like a
comes.
fighter's entrance
Yeah.
song. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh no, he's dialed in. I'm in trouble.
We know your walkout song. Let's get your take now.
No.
Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my take on this beautiful Friday afternoon is all Jag related and all linebacker related. Just looking around this morning, looking at news and notes, and I noticed on the ESPN Jaguar page depth chart, they had Jack Kaiser as the starting Sam linebacker. Ventrell Miller, of course, and Foye Oluokun, the other two. You know, have we looked over Jack Kaiser as a real true candidate to be one of the top starting linebackers for this team? Can he play Sam? So what does that mean? He's got to be on the tight end sometimes, right? He's got to be able to hold the force, which means don't let anybody outside him from time to time. He's got to cover the tight end or whoever becomes number 2 to his side from time to time. You know, so can he do all those things? I don't know. I mean, look, he made a couple plays in camp. I remember he made that one pick. It wasn't a padded practice, but it was pretty intense practice, and they were going. It was like 2-minute drill. And I mean, a nice pick and returned it for.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Do you remember that?
That was one of the first moments where you were like, "Oh,
okay, he's got some athleticism and can do it and that kind of thing." I mean, that was one small play, but interesting that he was there. Abdullah was the backup Sam. Gardeck was the defensive end, and at first I was like, that just doesn't make sense. But then you told me he actually had a ton of plays at D end, which I knew he played D end, but I thought it was more like in the nickel, type situations, which I would want him on the field. Now, if Kaiser can do everything you need him to do as Sam, good for him and good for the defense. But I think that guard deck being out there, including in base, not just nickel, but being able to rush the passer and do everything else that Sam Backer's got to do.
Yeah, when it comes to Kaiser, I know he started at Notre Dame playing rover, and he would play kind of all over the place, and then they moved him to will linebacker the final season. So he has played all
in space then, okay. Yep. Well, we'll see. I mean, look, Kevin Hardy could play all three. Kevin, I was doing this thing earlier on my podcast, like the top linebackers of inside backers. And I said, Hardy played Sam, Will, Mike in base, all three, different years. He always played in nickel, and he was typically the dime backer after 96, because Eddie Robinson was our dime backer, I think, in 96. So he never left the field at 6'4", 260. Think about
wild.
that. That's like Urlacher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like Urlacher big, doing all that. So, it'll be interesting how they line up in OTAs.
Yeah, and because you and I were having the conversation off air about Gardeck and what we remember of where he was playing, because obviously there was periods of time. Trayvon was hurt for periods of time, so we were trying to figure out what it looked like and remember what that looked like for edge rusher. But then Devin Lloyd missed time, so I think that's why we kind of saw Gardeck in different places. I know in this. I'm just looking real quick because it said he continued to play primarily on the edge, providing a quality pass rush, which we know that. Occasionally sliding to inside linebacker or tight end coverage, depending on the defensive scheme. So he was used in that way. I know size-wise, I don't know that's what you feel like is a concern when it comes to Gardeck just playing.
Well, being a base end, but not a nickel,
not for nickel
end.
okay.
No, because you're a little wider.
Yeah.
You're not going to get double T. It's going to be tough to do anything there. But I think he's got that skill set to get after the QB. He's shown it.
Yeah.
I mean, with Carolina or with the Cardinals, he's shown it, and then in a spot duty, he's shown it with us.
Yeah, I think that is going to, for me, the linebacker group is going to be one of the more interesting things to watch this offseason, because losing Devin Lloyd is going to be a part of that conversation. But because of Gardeck, they got Parker Hughes not until the 7th, but that was their linebacker they drafted. You know what Foye is already. Ventrell, you've seen moments, but can he be? Is that his spot, hands down? Is it, Kaiser? I don't feel like we've seen enough last year, but at Notre Dame, you saw, his ability to move all different spots at linebacker. So it will be fun to kind of pay attention to that.
I think backer, safety, and that third pass rusher, those three on defense are going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. We're going to get to some college football on the other side, and Cole Thompson's going to join us, and he's a host for SEC Unfiltered. So we'll get into the SEC, but college football overall. So that's on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Written by Bowden Iron Associates. 1010XL.
I get to discover it all again. I'm walking around just like a newborn, experiencing all of this beauty.
Rediscover 1010XL every day.
Where did it come from? Has it always been like this?
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, life can get a little hectic at times, and no one has time to get hurt. Lost wages, injuries that not only hurt, but ones that hinder our success. If you're in this position due to the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. What's up, Jacksonville? Tom McManus here. Injuries suck. I know it. And if you get injured, check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 lawyers with enough firepower to handle any and all cases that you may be dealing with. They make filing a claim easy. And don't get paid unless you do. Visit forthepeople.com or hit pound law from your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Former Gator Patrick Young pours out orange and blue passion with Hacker on the Gator Bites podcast.
Patrick Young, coming to life.
Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Fridays on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Blake Bortles. People know I've always said if I wasn't playing football, I'd probably be on a construction site. So Next Gen Roofing finally let me live the dream.
Blake, why are you wearing a red practice jersey?
Always worn it for safety.
Right. Well, around here, the red jersey means you're the new guy, so you're in charge of garbage cleanup.
Perfect. I love garbage time. Always excelled in it.
It's not exactly what I meant.
Good thing Next Gen Roofing has real pros handling everything from family homes to large commercial buildings. Next Gen, teamed up with you.
Teamed up with you. Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
The Jaguars Foundation is hosting an intimate evening of community and conversation at the Sports and Culture Speaker Series presented by Miller Electric. Join us June 3rd for dinner, drinks, and conversation in the Miller Electric Center. You'll hear exclusive perspectives from Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen and general manager James Gladstone as they talk culture, leadership, and building a lasting legacy on and off the field. To be part of the conversation, visit jaguars.com/community/events.
Hi, Frank Frangie here, inviting you to join my wife and me June 22nd of 2027 as we experience the food, wine, and culture of iconic Italy with Colette. Our journey takes us to historic cities and enchanting medieval towns. We'll enjoy a wonderful 7-night stay in the Montecatini Term A famous resort and spa town nestled in the heart of the rolling hills of Tuscany. Visit the cultural treasures of Florence, Pisa, and lovely Lucca. Along the way, we'll discover the food, wine, and old world charm, and even have a special chef-led cooking class. This and so much more. Colette handles the details, flights, hotels, meals, and the local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss joining my wife and me in Italy. Now to learn more, visit 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Come away with me.
That's 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. ET here, and it's bigger game days and UFC fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that's always coming through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late at night? Only at Twin Peaks, your #1 sports bar.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Gate Petroleum Company. Rumors continue to swirl around the Jacksonville Jaguars as well as trade ideas. This one coming from Bleacher Report writer Gary Davenport projecting Alvin Kamara being traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for a 5th-round selection in 2027. 89 degrees at 3:02. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
All right, it's time for some college football entertainment now with my friend Cole Thompson, host of Morning Drive on Sports Talk 790, covering Houston sports, but also college football host for SEC Unfiltered. Cole, thanks for hopping on. I know a little bit last minute, so thanks for joining and chatting some college football with us.
Taylor, I just need to ask out of curiosity, did you wait until Friday for the Astros and Cubs to take place for us to have a conversation to where you knew my mind was going to be completely not focusing on college football and instead begging, pleading, going across the way to say, my God, knock the crap out of PCA, drill him as much as you possibly can, and let your sorry team find a way to continue to be on their dismal losing streak? Did you wait just for Friday for this to happen?
Maybe a little bit of it. Conveniently enough, Cole, I have my
I figured.
I have my Pete Crow Armstrong USA jersey on today, actually. So, repping a little PCA. Let's get into some college football, Cole. A lot of fun storylines around college football, but SEC in particular, especially here with new coach in Florida and some of that stuff going on. So let's start there. Those coaching changes around the SEC when it comes to right down the street, and a lot of the Gator fans here, and Lane Kiffin headed to LSU. But chat a little bit for you. What coach do you think is going to make the biggest impact immediately in their new spot?
Well, I think it's easier to say Lane Kiffin because of what he is going to bring in terms of a coaching staff and the NIL funds that he was able to get to bring in these recruits and transfer portal players. But I said at the start of the offseason, and I'm going to stand by it, I think the best hire of the year was made in Gainesville, Florida, by not going after Lane Kiffin and going after John Summerall. And I understand that there's a lot of people who have been snake bitten before about going the G5 route with the coach in Louisiana and watching him find a way to inevitably just watch everything blow up in his face. I get that. But Billy Napier and John Summerall are two completely different people. You know, Billy Napier was a very cool, calm, collective, quiet approach, tried to carry a big stick mentality. John Summerall is a screw loose inside of a factory that is just like banging off of the walls and just trying to keep things in voice. Like, I mean, like you hear him going on a podcast and saying, hey, if things don't go well for me in year one, yeah, the SWAT team may need to get called to the SWAT because they're not going to be handling it that well. Like that's the mentality that you need at a place like Florida. And I think he's done a hell of a job with the hires he's made this offseason. I think Buster Faulkner, if he's not the best, he's a top 3 offensive coordinator in the sport. He went out, he brought Eric Singleton, who was a stud when he was at Georgia Tech in that offense, to forego that final year of eligibility. I mean, to forego the NFL draft for a final year of eligibility. He retained so many of those offensive key pieces from a season ago that it's detrimental towards their success that they are going to be able to hit the ground running with their offensive ideologies. And I think that keeping a guy like Jaden Woods on that defense is massive because of what you're trying to establish very early on. So Florida's schedule is a little bit challenging. There's definitely some roadblocks along the way. You got the game against Ole Miss. You got the game against Texas. You know, there are going to be some moments to where you ask yourself, is Florida really going to end up being anything more than a 7-5 roster? I think it's based off how it looks is where you feel really promising. And honestly, Taylor, I look at that week 3 game against Auburn, and I say that is a crossroad game for both these programs with 2 new head coaches. Whoever wins that one, I think, is going to overexceed expectations, and they're really going to put themselves in a position where they may not make the playoff, but they're going to be a reason why someone else does.
Cole, great to have you on the show. Thanks for the time. Ole Miss last year seemed like the darling of not only the SEC, but of the entire NCAA. They get Chambliss back. They get Lacey back. How do you expect them to fare in 2026?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, and it's an unknown, if we're being honest. Like, I truly believe that if you have the best quarterback in college football, and I do believe that Trinidad Chambliss coming back right now deserves that conversation to be the best quarterback in college football, you will be in the chatter of being a college football playoff contender. The crazy part is we don't know what this team is going to be, and I understand that people could say, well, you watched as Pete Golding went up against Kirby Smart, and he won the game in the Sugar Bowl. And it's like, yeah, that's great. but that's a one-time outlier experiment. What do you do when it's 3rd and 6 and you have to go for it because of if you don't get it, the game's over? What do you do playing in an actual road environment? What are we going to see when your defense gives up 30 points? Can your offense respond with a new coordinator who, while John David Baker does come from a similar background and offensive approach that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Wise are from because if he was on the staff at Ole Miss, he does call plays different. So it's a big question mark. That defense did take a massive hit when it came to losing some transfer portal pieces. I think really the loss of Prince Wilwin, Manley Allen, and TJ Daugherty are exceptionally massive for the departure of how do you go ahead and rebuild this defense overnight. But I do like the wide receiver room. They feel really confident in their tight end play. Their offensive line returns 4 starters. And they may have the best running back in college football along with the best quarterback in college football. So how they look after that Week 3 game, there's a couple of matchups, that Florida matchup, you throw in the Oklahoma matchup later on in the season. That may be really telling of if they are a playoff contender or not. But as of now, until I see otherwise, you have Trinidad Chambliss on your squad. That at least is going to give you, I would say, a plus run differential. I mean, I call that the 2-win theory. So the 2-win theory for me is whatever you thought you had before Trinidad Chambliss, add 2 wins to it. So if you thought they were 7-5, now I think they're 9-3. You thought they were 8-4, now I think they're 10-2.
Cole, an interesting note, too. You mentioned that Auburn-Florida game, and Byron Brown, obviously the quarterback now, beat Florida last year at USF, so there's an extra little something between that matchup that I think will be kind of fun. Before we switch over to talk a little bit of Houston Texans, too, in the AFC South, I did want to ask just the expectations, because I feel like as a whole, the SEC has a little bit of pressure to win with the streak of the Big Ten winning all these national championships recently. But for you, which coach do you think is under the most pressure? Are we talking about a DeBoer?
No, I think the DeBoer was under the most pressure going into the year, but then when you sign a new 7-year contract extension worth $12.5 million, I mean, whether or not we think that you deserve to be on the hot seat, you're not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's one where you can just say he is probably locked in for the future. I think it's Shane Beamer out in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And it's largely due to the fact of the inadequate way of how you lost games, the complete implosion with Mike Shula as your offense coordinator a year after being a 9-win roster that nearly made the college football playoff with about the same amount of pieces that you have on the team. Shane went about it completely differently this offseason. He said, I'm not going to go hire my friends. I'm not going to go bring in people who I have relationships with. I'm just getting the best coaches. That is my goal. And so I think he did that by making sure he brought in Randy Clements, the offensive line coach from TCU. Kendall Briles, I think, will get the best version of Lenore Stellars. I love the hire of Stan Drayton as the running backs coach. But Taylor, I don't know if you remember, that game against Texas A&M, he was talking mightily brash going into halftime about how people doubted him and doubted the program because of what the record said. And right after he got done with that interview, A&M lit a new fire, and they decided to say, you know, we want to be 11-1 and make college football playoffs, so we're going to embarrass you in front of our fans. And a lot of South Carolina fans at that point kind of checked out on Beamer because of he wasn't able to close that big of a lead. Their schedule is daunting. There are a lot of trap games in the season, so don't think that he is going to be right now the favorite to be SEC Coach of the Year. He's going to fight and claw his way to earn a pathway to the postseason. It does feel like right now, based off what we know about the South Carolina squad, you may be looking for a new head coach at Columbia come 2027.
Cole Thompson here with us out of Houston, talking college ball and the National Football League. Real quick before the Texans, how much noise did Tanner Koziel make in the Houston market with his season last year at the University of Houston?
Yeah, Koziel was actually a really nice find and a great late addition. So he initially transferred to Wisconsin, and then in the second wave of the portal, he went to Houston. A big reason why Houston last season got to 10-plus wins was because of Koziel. He was not only extremely healthy, but he was a weapon across the middle of the field. Not a great run-blocking tight end. This is one of your more prototypical, let's say, like Evan Ingram-like type players. He is going to be used as a receiver. You want him focalized inside the red zone. But he was a very big security blanket for Connor Wigman in this offense headlined by Slade Nagel. The way that I think you're going to see Liam Cohen utilize the tight ends, we'll be able to talk about his role. He's probably not going to be anything more than a third-string guy to begin the campaign, but his hands are smooth. He has a good route running size. And then when you're 6'7", you're going to win a lot of one-on-one matchups that the rest out.
Cole, before we let you go, just give us kind of some overall thoughts when it comes to the Houston Texans. We were looking at some odds earlier in the week, and the Texans are favored in 13 of their games. The Jaguars favored in just 8 of them. Does that feel like the mindset there in Houston that they can win that many football games this season?
Yeah, it's almost an expectation, Taylor, if I'm being completely honest, because half of these people, half the fan base, they say that after what you added in this offense with a new line, and then more specifically what you added in on the defensive side, where literally you had no questions and you said, sure, let's just go get better by adding in a Reed Blankenship from Philadelphia. And Caden McDonald would have been a first-round pick. We're just going to take him at pick number 36. We'll call it a day. They really believe that there is no stone left unturned. It's really going to come down to C.J. Stroud and offensive coordinator Nick Haley and how they build this thing on up in year 2. I mean, we are talking about a guy who last season looked the part until he suffered his first concussion against the Denver Broncos. And then when he came back, felt very docile, felt very panicked, a lot of up-tempo motion. That ultimately put a major damper on the way that this offense looked and was a big-time reason why they struggled in the playoffs. I mean, 7 turnovers, that's the lasting image of what we have of C.J. Stroud. He didn't get a contract this offseason, but they play a second-place schedule. They, according to ESPN FPI rankings, have the 7th easiest schedule in the NFL. We all know that is a cock of crap because, let's be real, you never know who is going to be actually good and bad next season.
Yep.
But still, their defense is going to be one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're not asking C.J. Stroud to be Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson. They're saying, don't crash the car driving from point A to point B. Like when you were growing up and your mom told you when you were, the driver's permit, you can take me home from the grocery store because it's only like a mile up the road. If CJ drives as calm as a kid with a mom inside the front seat, the Texans can be a Super Bowl contender. But if he's a guy who is panicking because of mom screaming at him because he's not meeting expectations or didn't use his signal, yeah, you're going to watch this thing crash and burn. And crash and burn for Houston is probably you're 10-7, you're a wild card team, you get past the divisional round because you always do. And then once again, for the 4th straight season, you lose on the divisional round weekend.
Yeah, Cole Thompson with the metaphors never let us down. We appreciate your time as usual. The Astros up 1-0 right now, but Cubs have the bases loaded. So we'll see how this goes, Cole. Thanks for hopping on and taking the time to chat with us.
Yeah, watch PCA hit a grand slam.
Bye, Cole. Thank you.
All right.
That
was great.
Yeah, college football season, we talk so much NFL on this show, but college football obviously is going to be really fun. There's a lot of new movement just in the SEC alone, but you talk about all over the league. And then the conversation about John Summerall and Lane Kiffin and Florida and LSU, I think is going to be huge throughout the season because if Lane gets off to this hot start and they're just rolling and Florida's struggling, there's going to be the part of the fan base that's like, see? Yeah.
Eddie O, part of the staff.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, out of Indiana, Miami, who's most likely to make it back to the championship game next year?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Indiana, they both have new QBs, right?
I feel like I could make an argument for either. I think, and same with the quarterback, because you're like, all right, well, Cignetti's done it with multiple quarterbacks, like made multiple quarterbacks good at Indiana already, but they've done the same thing at Miami. Miami hits the portal and has been able to hit on multiple, and then they do it again this year, getting that quarterback from Duke, who a lot of people liked, was probably the favorite of quarterbacks in the portal. So I feel like it'll be an interesting thing to see what Cignetti does, because Cignetti's a big thing of his was the portal, and the older roster was a lot of that. And now Miami being able to hit the portal, but being able to recruit so well, I feel like they have so much young talent, and we saw what their trenches looked like last year. So I don't know. I feel like I could make an argument for either. A little bit of me wants to lean towards Miami just because of the balance between the portal and the what they were able to do in the portal and recruiting, and then obviously the quarterback being proven already, and a lot of people like him.
Cignetti, Mendoza was not like this unbelievable QB when he got to Indiana. He's thrown like 17 picks at Cal, and you're like, oh, whatever. And so he must know how to turn those guys into something for his offense.
Definitely. And that one would be a fun one, just because I do think the SEC has a little bit of pressure on them, because It's multiple. We have the streak of Big Ten national championships, and the SEC wants to scream we're the best conference. Then you got to win, and you got to get another natty, or people are going to start questioning that a little bit. But let's get into a little bit more Jaguars on the other side. That will be up next on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Start the day with the best we have to offer.
You've got to be joking.
Really, they are top shelf talent.
They're terrific.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Look closely, girls. This is what you want to avoid later in life.
Weekday mornings on 1010XL.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates.
Friday.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
Hey, Tommy Mack here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business right here on the first coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. So when you need a fence, you can trust the Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
Every day is game day on Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony break it down from every angle. Roster moves, matchups, league trends, and the pulse of Duval. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
College football isn't just a season, it's a sisterhood. Bold Ladies is the women's membership group of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, where community, connection, and college football come together. This is Stacy from 1010XL, and I enjoy my membership. From exclusive events to networking, philanthropy, and unforgettable game day experiences, Bold Ladies is where women make an impact. Visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and join today.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Taylor Dahl here, Tom McManus here, RJ Saunders behind the board, Lauren Brooks taking a vacation day and joining that. We had quite the storm about 10
Just
minutes
ripped through, yeah,
ago,
holy cow.
and now it's getting sunny already, and so that is Florida summer, what it looks like. We were talking
That's
about that
right.
a little bit tomorrow because I have friends that are doing a pool party cookout, and I looked at the weather, and it looks kind of rough, but I feel like you never know. In summertime, it could rain for 30 minutes and then be sunny again.
You know,
so
I always, you can't control Mother Nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just can't control her. So she's going to do what she does.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Most of us women do.
Yeah, exactly. And if it rains, hopefully it's just one of those, you know, goes
quick
by
little
and then comes
showers.
back.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
I saw this article, Tommy, that I thought was interesting. I just wanted to talk about for a second. When it comes to somebody, it was on CBS Sports, Pete Prisco. He regraded the 2023 NFL draft. If you don't remember that, that was
Okay.
the draft where the Jags came out with 13 picks. They had 13, came
Right.
out with 13. And I remember there was a lot of criticism on that just
Is
because
that Parker and them?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So it was. I feel like the criticism was, why didn't you package any and move up at times because you had so many picks, and that was some of the conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anton Harrison, Brenton Strange, Tank
Antonio.
Bigsby, Ventrell Miller, Tyler Lacey, Yasir Abdullah, Antonio Johnson, Parker Washington, Christian Braswell, Eric Hallett, Cooper Hodges, Raymond Voashek, and then Derek Parrish were.
I mean,
all
you know
of
how
the
many guys are on the team?
lot.
Significant
Yeah.
playing time and really
So-
good players.
So
Wow.
Prisco redrafts and gives them a B- on that, but I thought it was interesting. And he said 13 picks in the draft, trading down in the first to land some, and 5 of them are projected to be starters in 2026. First round tackle Anton Harrison, second round tight end Brenton Strange are good players on the offense. Obviously, 5th round safety Antonio Johnson. We've talked a ton about him after this last season and his expectations for this upcoming season. 6th round receiver Parker Washington. I listed him as my top receiver yesterday when we were going through if we were just ranking right now. He was their go-to guy for the end of the season this year. 4th round linebacker Ventrell Miller, who's starting for a starting position right now at linebacker, and then they picked him, kept him, but instead of Devin Lloyd is what Prisco says. 3rd round running back Tank Bigsby, who's no longer here. He was traded to the Eagles, and so
When was Abdullah picked? 6th round?
he was. Let's see,
5th, 6th?
Abdullah was. Let me see. 5th.
5th
So
pick,
pick
5th round.
136.
Okay.
Yeah. So Anton Strange, Ventrell, Abdullah, Antonio Johnson, Parker Washington, and Braswell.
Pretty good class.
All
I mean,
still
that's a
on
really
the-
good class. I
Yeah.
mean, for us anyway.
And
what
so
they've done here.
We've had criticized, including myself, Trent Baalke many times for the things he did. But when you go back to that draft, that has to be one of his better drafts. And you almost wonder sometimes if you have that amount of talent, where these guys that perform the way they did last year, and several of them now already getting second contracts or looking soon to get their second contract, how much of it was coaching that just wasn't getting what you wanted to see? Brenton Strange, to me, is one of those examples, because the year before he started, when Trevor got hurt and Mac Jones was out there, you started seeing a little bit more of Brenton Strange, and he was really starting to pick up steam a little bit. Anton Harrison, I think from the beginning we saw, and I mean, Liam Cohen made the comments last year, Tommy, of when I'm trying to think of the wording. When he's on, or when he's working towards it, he can be a really good player. He just needs that extra work.
Anton. Yeah, when he wants to.
Yes, when he wants to. That's the wording. Parker Washington, we're talking about yesterday. People, Baldinger saying he's one of the best route runners in the NFL for the wide receivers. So looking at it, it was you come out, with 13 picks, but you're talking about 6 guys right now that could be starting.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I say it all the time. It's not just the talent, but it's matching it with the coach's demeanor, his philosophies, his messaging and whatnot. And Doug Peterson was just always more like a player's coach, which meant he left it up to the players to discipline themselves, to hold themselves accountable. Well, rookies aren't going to do that. That's for sure. Unless they're special, they're older, there's some circumstance where they grew up in a situation where they had to grow up really quick, whatever the case may be. It's hard to say that to a rookie or even a second-year player, unless what? You got a bunch of veterans that are leading the way and that are saying, hey, Rook, come on, you come with me. No, you're not leaving early. You're coming back, and we're going to run some more. We're going to go watch some more film, or we got to do something different out on the field. We got to work on our hands. We got to do extra condition, whatever the case may be. So what it tells me is that Balke had the right kind of player. He had the wrong kind of coach matching with that player, because clearly those guys you named, the 6 that are doing great under Liam Cohen, they conform under Liam's style. So they like Liam's style, or they wouldn't be playing at a high level. See how that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how that stuff works. Like, they're like, this is what I've been waiting for. You to get on my ass. Hold me accountable. Yell at me when I don't do well. It's okay. Just make sure you praise me when I do a good job, and we're going to be fine. But don't leave it up to me. Don't say, hey, we'll get him next time every single time. Because then what am I going to do? I'm going to have that mentality. I'm like, oh, yeah, coach says that. Coach says next time. But like, all right, screw it, next time. Liam says no, right now. We're fixing it now.
Well, you've said that a little bit, Tommy, early last year when you were criticizing when it was more so like the way the approach early on, which changed obviously throughout the season, but when it was more so like, well, like they got us, and it was more so, or like we're beating ourselves was the thing we kept hearing. I can't stand that. And because then I feel like in a way that's teaching where it's like, oh, well, they're not better than us. It's just us. And so that's where that conversation comes from when it's that. But so you look at that draft. I was looking at some of the other ones. The Texans, he gives the Texans a B. That was the year, obviously, C.J. Stroud was drafted. Will Anderson was, they got him at pick 3. Juice Scruggs after that. Tank Dell was drafted in that one. So that was a pretty good draft for the Houston Texans too that year, and so they gave them a B. The Jaguars a B-. I was looking at the Colts too to see what theirs looked like. The 2023 Colts draft, that was the Anthony Richardson one, obviously. He gave them a B-, but that one's interesting to me because I don't know
who
if
else is on there.
Julius Brents, Josh Downs, Blake Freeland, Darius Rush, Daniel Scott. I don't know if any of those.
I'm sorry.
Jalen Jones I do like, but
you swing and miss on the 4th pick in the draft, and you went really risky and you missed. You get like an F. Maybe if you do better with the other picks, you get a D, but nothing more than that.
I'm not totally sure I agree with that one in that sense. The Tennessee Titans that year got Peter Skoronski, Will Levis, Tyjae Spears, Josh Weil, Jalen Duncan, and Colton Dowell. So
a couple guys there.
There's a few. Skoronski's one of the ones.
Yeah, he's a good guard.
And he was one of the ones that they talked about short arms with, and he's been able to.
Northwestern, right? Yep, I remember him.
Yeah, so going back, it's always funny. That's why we panic after the draft so quickly, and then you go back sometimes. Because I remember the Britton Strange pick, everybody was like, what? Why are you picking him in the 2nd round? I remember that was part of the conversation, and it's worked out.
Right when we had Ingram. Like Ingram was our star player. Like you're like, well, we don't need that. Why'd you do that? But we're glad they did. You know, they saw something in him. Parker too. I mean, Parker was a 6th rounder. He was like, hey, if he makes it, great. If not, whatever. You know what I mean?
And now we're like, pay him. We love Parker.
Well, he's that's a guy that's intangibly rich. Without a doubt, he cares about his performance. He cares about the team's performance. If he needs something, you could just tell he works on his craft when nobody's watching. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is.
He was your best receiver for a stretch, and still was like, put me on special teams so I can return because I'm good at that too. And he's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
It's great to have players like that. All right, Tommy, we have the golden moment on the other side, so we'll get to that up next on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Bowden Iron Associates, Helmets and Heels Friday. Jags, Gators, high school heroes. 1010XL covers it all. The 1010XL network is now streaming on YouTube and all your favorite social channels at 1010XL.
What if your next fun day out costs just $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jax. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience? No problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Hey, it's Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial pound law or check out forthepeople.com.
Hey there, all you sports dads rocking the best dad bod possible. We love seeing you eat tacos by the handful, and we love it when you bring your kids here too. For years, Lucy claimed that her favorite thing on the menu was sopapillas, with big scoop ice cream. I know that's not a taco, but that never stopped her. I was shooting for Dad of the Year anyway, so I just let it happen. Taco Lou's a great place to bring the family. There's something for everyone, as long as it starts with a taco. And a margarita for mom is always a good thing. At Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the products and services, the best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Memorial Day. 0% financing available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway and tell them Prosser sent you.
I'm with Sullivan from Cycles of Jacksonville and Sullivan. You love the beach and you love to ride, so tell everybody what Honda's got cooking right now.
Yes, definitely. Here at Cycles of Jacksonville, we have a full line, Hondas, Vespas, Triumphs, everything you can think of just to ride to the beach. It's going to be the best summer ever when you hop on that ride this year.
And so if you head to the showroom first, you're going to see all sorts of examples of what they can enjoy.
Exactly. Come see us at the showroom, Atlantic Boulevard. We're ready to see you there.
You can log on, check out their Facebook page or cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for fixing my air conditioner last week. It's way nicer at my place now.
Glad we could help. Good to know it was just a small repair.
I know. A new air conditioner can be pretty expensive.
I mean, they do keep your whole house nice. That's a lot of space to keep cool.
I know.
And they do it all summer long, even when the weather is totally Jacksonville temperature outside.
I know.
Luckily, if you ever do need a new AC, we can arrange a financing plan that'll make it easy for you to handle.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Here, put on these sunglasses.
Whoa. They can show banking information? Cool glasses.
Short term, long term, low interest, 0 down payment. There's all kinds of options for bigger projects or even repairs as low as $500.
I wish I had these math sunglasses in high school.
You and me both, pal.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, the golden moment today on this Friday afternoon is having Herm Edwards as our guest in the first hour. Of course, the former head coach in the Jets, the Chiefs, and the Arizona Sun Devils, college and pro, and, of course, the ESPN analyst. Always great to have him on. We've had him on before. You know, I do find it interesting, he mentions Trevor, right, about the Jags are going to go, but that's the same for everybody.
Yeah.
And it feels like when but when people talk about Stroud, it's not the same. Well, it all depends on Stroud, but it really does depend on the quarterback all around the league and really at any level.
Yeah.
If you don't got the QB, consistent QB, I don't care. You could be good and go far for a little bit, but eventually it's gonna run out because you ran into that team that has the better quarterback and an equal defense or close to it and an equal O-line or close. You know what I mean? But they got the QB.
Yeah, I think that it is interesting, and I think this year will be fun in the sense of the last 2 years. I do feel like the Super Bowl winner shifted a little bit to where it's not a complete star quarterback that won. It was a really good run game and a really good defense, and with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold has moments where he's obviously proven he can be really good, but there's stretches where you're just like, he's all right. Like, he's a good quarterback. It's not like he was going up against Matthew Stafford to get to the Super Bowl, and I think most people would say Matthew Stafford's better than Sam Darnold, but their defense, and that's what if I were to ask you right now, let's say the Jaguars win 13 games this season, would you say it's because Trevor continued to play like he did those last 5 or 6 games, or would you say it was because the defense was, turned into a top 10 defense?
I think the defense, because it's year 2 and they're all got them on, I think the defense has to just close games out. Yeah. If you're going to get 13, they've learned how to close them out. You know, you close a lead, sudden change, you step up and deliver, when the ball's turned over unexpectedly, and you just got to go out there and either, make them punt or hold them to a field goal, those types of things. But you got to close out games. I think that's the next step. You do that with a persistent pass rush harassing the QB. So I would say if they get to 13 again, Trevor and the offense is going to have to play well. There's no doubt about that. But I think because they got us on tape, because it'll be a little bit more challenge, because like Herm said, they all look at us different now, our defense is going to have to take that next step.
Yeah, I've kind of been leaning that way too, just because I think that, and Cole Thompson said it too when talking about the Houston Texans, to where you don't even need Stroud to be perfect or great. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on Stroud because the defense is so good. And also, you talk about the defense being good and stopping teams from scoring, but when your defense also, you're giving your offense better field position, or you're getting the ball, you're getting those takeaways. The Jaguars benefited from a ton of those takeaways last year, and that's an important thing. The year before, there wasn't a lot of takeaways, and then when they did take it away, the offense wasn't getting points out of the takeaways. And so when you have a team that is able to do some of those things, it doesn't put so much pressure on your quarterback, but you still need a quarterback, not one that turns the ball over 10 times in 2 games. And that's what we saw out of Stroud in the postseason. And honestly, what we saw at Trevor in periods of time, he led those first 4 years. He had the most turnovers of any quarterback during that those 4 year stretch. And so and it ended up equating to a lot of losses. And so it is interesting to see, because I do think we've just, the most 2 recent examples are top defenses. The Seattle was to me, top 3 defense in the NFL this year. When the Eagles won, they were, completely dominant. You couldn't.
Although Jalen did outduel in the game,
Mahomes
but he's not.
But their defense, Mahomes was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and you're not used to seeing that from Patrick Mahomes.
No, you're absolutely right. And then Darnold, look, I think Darnold just fell into the right spot. It shows that you got to have the QB, but you got to have everything else around. It's just not just the QB. But if you got everything else around, you don't have that QB, then you run into trouble eventually.
Yeah.
Look, Sam Darnold, maybe not, head-to-head with Matthew Stafford, but in clutch time, not turning the ball over with all that, pressure, all that stuff, he came through pretty darn well. And I think the running game with Kenneth Walker III really helped that offense, which they think out in Houston that Montgomery's going to deliver that, with the offensive line. Does it happen? Remains to be seen. Look, Chris Rodriguez and Tootin are going to be counted upon that to help their quarterback go. The thing about, I think, what difference is with Trevor and Stroud, Trevor can take it over, and he showed it last year. I think that was part of the let it rip. Like, hey, man, our running game's not really doing that well. I know it's not giving you a lot of, taking pressure off. Why don't you just take over and start running? Why don't you use your legs as a weapon and then let it rip with your arm? Let's get into the flow of being aggressive. I don't see Stroud like that. I think if you get after Stroud and frustrate him, he's not escaping and taking off for 40 yards like Trevor can do. You know what I mean? He's not doing these things to take over a game. That's where Trevor becomes different with a guy like CJ Stroud.
It almost felt like Houston did the opposite last year. Instead, they said, hey, at least during the regular season, Stroud, let's reel this in a little bit, because you don't have to do much for us to win these games because the defense is so good. And I think that at times maybe that's good for quarterbacks, because you're not putting the pressure on them, and you can see Stroud get frustrated when, in those moments it unraveled in the postseason, and that's what happens. And but again, you saw that from Trevor for a bit of time too. And last year when Liam Cohen just said, let it rip, let it go.
Yeah.
That's when you saw Trevor just kind of unleash everything, and it's the most comfortable he's looked in an offense in the NFL so far. And that's what is, to your point, it feels like Trevor's like, this is my offense. CJ Stroud more so seems like to me, game manager, which I don't want to use that in a negative term, but more so, let's just try and not turn it over a ton, but let's just, score some points when we can, but the defense isn't going to let them score anyways.
For the record, I want my QB to be a game manager. I want him to be efficient. I want him to have all the tools, of course, but I want him to run my offense efficiently and not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really number one. Like, just don't screw it up. I'm going to get the guys open, put it in their damn hands. If you get a rush, try to figure it out. If you got to dunk, you got to move, you got to run, you got to escape. We'll hand the ball off. We'll try to get the running game going, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Those are the things that they deal with. But I don't know. I think in this league, you still got to you got to put up 21 points a game. I mean, it's hard for your defense. Look, what was, I think Cleveland or, Seattle was at like 15 points a game, 14.7.
Yeah, I think it was like 14.8
okay, that's
or
special.
something. That's
okay,
wild.
that's special.
Yeah, most defenses aren't
that good. So even in that, you got to score 17. So what's that? 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So you got to throw for 1, I would imagine. So you got to be somewhat productive, is what I'm getting at. Even when you're game managing the offense at QB.
And to your point, even the 19-20 mark, where you're like, hey, still a good defense is holding teams to 19 or 20. That offense
like
is
the
still,
Jags.
and you're still. That means that opposing offense that needs to score 3 touchdowns or a couple with a few field goals in there, obviously. So you're still asking your offense to score is the point.
21, 24 points should win you most games.
Yeah.
It should if you have that defense.
Yeah.
But you got to have the QB to do it and
score.
Everybody else to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, and the conversation with Jalen Hurts, I think, is very unique because he won a Super Bowl, and people still are like, I don't know how good he actually is. Was it Saquon? Was it the defense? What's going on here? He's one of the more unique situations when it comes to the you could ask 25 people, and 12 would say he's, a top 5 quarterback, or 10, and another group, I think, would say not.
I think if we went through, like, quarterbacks, who you'd pick to build a team, I wonder where Jalen would come out.
Yeah. I think he's a little lower on mine, but
he'd be lower on mine. I don't know how low, but have to think
it's a good
about
conversation maybe for another day.
Yeah.
Where does Trevor sit in that is another part of that conversation.
Absolutely.
All right, it's time to say hello to the lead with Hayes Carlyon and Ryan O'Halloran on the other side, as it's Friday, and Frangie has those Frangie Fridays, we'll call them, where he gets to have a day off. We'll do that on the other side. Up next on Helmets and Heels, 92.5, 1010XL.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, enhanced by Bowden Iron Associates. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
All right, here we go. Jacksonville summer's around the corner, and the heat is bringing the pressure early. Your AC takes the field. It's trying to hold up the weight. Warm air, weak airflow. The system's in trouble. Time to make the call. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Experienced AC techs, honest pricing, and they'll get it done right the first time. And here's the play right now. Take $500 off the total price of a new AC system during the Memorial Day promotion. That's how you stay cool and win the day. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769 or duckrooter.com.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train, full-time in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year. And the classes are 100% tuition-free. Apply before June 11th and start your new career at nefbaapprenticeship.org.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I want to thank our friends from Daly's for sponsoring our Walk-Off Charities Golf Classic, June 8th at Deer Creek Country Club. Now get this. For every fried chicken sandwich sold between now and then, Daly's will donate $1 to Walk-Off. That's right, for every single fried chicken sandwich sold between now and then, you help a young person in the community play baseball. So head to Daly's today and grab one of those delicious fried chicken sandwiches. And we'll see you at the Daly's Walk-Off Golf Classic, June 8th. Daly's. It's nicer here.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. From now until May 28th, we're holding our big diamond sale, and now's the best time to buy a quality diamond of a carat or more. Here are a few reasons. First, there's severe upward pressure on rough diamonds, with 4 price increases already this year. Most of this has yet to hit the polished market, so they're diamonds for sale at the old prices. Next, our diamond cutters asked us to house their inventories of existing big diamonds so we could sell them here prior to them being offered to the jewelry trade in Las Vegas. This allows us the ability to sell from their vast stock at brokerage prices you have to see to believe. All of these diamonds are graded for cut, color, and clarity with independent laboratory grading reports. Now, along with this vast collection of big diamonds, we put all of our own meticulously selected loose diamonds and engagement-style rings on sale at prices from 3% to 25% off. We also take trade-ins, but remember, this sale ends May 28th at Underwood San Marco, Avondale, and the Shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Winding things down here on Helmets and Heels on a Friday, a long weekend. Tommy, you and I talked about it at the top, what Memorial Day means, Memorial Day weekend means for us and everybody, and all of the appreciation we have for the military, the ones we've lost, the active duty members, the veterans, all of that. We appreciate and very thankful for all that they do.
The ultimate sacrifice you can do on this earth is fight for your country and fight for their freedom and for freedom of others. So they'll always be at the top in my regard. You know what I mean? They're just that bravery, that courage. I wonder if I would have it, you know? You don't know until you're in it, you know, but you think you would. But I tell you what, the ones that do it without thinking like that, they're the real courageous ones.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like Lauren would be ashamed if I didn't mention some of the Florida Gator scores that were happening. Obviously, Florida baseball last night run-ruled Alabama.
Yeah,
they'll play their next game against number 4 Georgia tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Ooh.
Florida softball fell today to number 11 Texas Tech 10-8. So there was a loss there. I know they were ranked. Florida softball was ranked number 6 and Texas Tech number 11 . So an upset on that type of thing. And I know she was probably not having.
She's drinking Chardonnay by now.
Yeah, definitely, probably a few Chardonnays. And I saw something too that said a Florida softball fan was ejected from the playoff game for a heated altercation with NBA legend Jason Williams.
Really?
I wonder. I didn't click yet to see exactly what happened or who, what, where, when, why.
Oh,
but is that someone you'd pick a fight with, RJ?
No.
White chocolate, Jason Williams?
Probably not.
That's a crazy guy.
Yeah, he's nutty.
Yeah, no, I mean,
what
for
a
that's
player.
skillful as he was on the court. Yeah, that guy. Seems like he's got a couple screws loose.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We like him a little, as long as they don't hurt nobody. A little screwy's fine.
The screws maybe dangling, but they're still there.
Yeah, but why would you do that anyway?
That's what I'm saying. It's such an odd thing.
It is very odd.
All right, RJ, we have Game 3, Thunder Spurs tonight, 8:30, and then Knicks Cavs tomorrow. Then Knicks up 2-0. How you feeling?
It's an all-out war in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it is.
It's not quiet on the Western Front. I absolutely am adoring that series. However, it does seem that everybody is starting to get hurt. Jalen Williams will not be playing in Game 3 due to the hamstring. I believe Dylan Harper is listed as questionable to play. And then I don't know with Cleveland right now. I don't know in terms of what they're going to be able to do. It does seem like they're going to have a lot more questions than they have answers going into this offseason. But, I mean, we've seen this team go down, I believe, 0-2, or we're just down in the series after going,
the
going
old guys
into
are a
3
little
games.
tired. That's all. They got to get a second to get their legs underneath them.
Yeah, ran out of gas. I think probably going home, getting some home cooking, sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
It probably can help, but this New York Knicks teams really seem to have found their stride, winners of their last 9 games in a row. So I think that's the thing about any kind of playoff or tournament setting. It's really not about how you finished in the regular season, but who's getting hot at that point going into the postseason. The Knicks really seem to be outside of OKC, really seem to be the hottest team in the NBA right now. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see how that series finishes up. But put me down for about 107 games of OKC and San Antonio.
No
that
doubt.
is an exciting series.
107 game series coming up.
That would be great.
All right, let's say hello to Hayes Carline.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
We have the lead coming up, the new show. I said it was Frank Fridays because he gets the day
That's
off.
right. Yeah.
It's just good to have a good time. We had Cole Thompson on earlier of SEC Unfiltered, and he said, I asked in the SEC when it comes to all the coaching changes and hirings that happened in this offseason, I specifically asked about Lane and John Summerall because I do think that's going to be a big conversation this season, but he said John Summerall was his favorite hire in college football this offseason, and so I feel like it's changed drastically in the last few months with how that's being talked about.
It definitely has for me. I mean, I still would think, if I had to bet on the two to have the most success, I'd bet on Kiffin. But I will say I was in like a sports depression when Florida hired John Summerall. I just couldn't believe it. And now I feel incredibly optimistic about it. So, I mean, it certainly has been, a great off season for John Summerall, and we'll see, how that translates to the field. But yeah, that's good to hear. And hopefully he'll be the next the football version of Todd Golden for the Gators.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tommy asked a good question too earlier, Hayes. If you were to predict, or I guess put money on Indiana or Miami returning to the national championship, who would you feel like had better odds for that?
That is a great question.
Thank
He's like, I did it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Finally. All week. I'm waiting.
I think I'd go Indiana just because Cignetti's so good.
I know.
Like, it's just hard. And I was totally wrong on him. I mean, I thought that was a one-year thing. And he was I think I called him a poser and a fraud and really had to eat those words and apologize.
He said,
you're on a
Google
run
me.
lately with these college coaches, ain't you?
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue. Mario's done a great job recruiting, and certainly they should be able to reload as well. But but I'll go with the Hoosiers because of Signetti.
Right.
Yeah,
there you go.
It should be a fun lead coming up. Mark Long will join us at 4:15 to talk Jags and Gators, and he also covered NASCAR for a long time with the Daytona races, so we'll get his thoughts on the tragic loss of Kyle Busch. And then Kai Stevens will join us at 5 o'clock to talk some Jaguars with us and let us know what's coming up on Jaguars.com. So yeah, and O'Halloran wrote a fantastic feature column. I don't know if you guys saw it on Nate Borkircher.
Yep.
So we're going to spend a lot of our first segment talking about that. It's one of the most thorough, well-resourced, reported features that you'll ever read. So again, a guy that we didn't know much about, and Ryan doing a great job shining a light in a dark corner. And so I would encourage people to go read that at Jacksonville.com.
We look forward to it. Thanks,
All right,
Hayes.
thanks so much.
All right, well, that does it for us today. Everybody have a good long weekend. Be safe out there.
That's
and
right.
we will see you Monday OTAs next week. So, Tommy, you're going to catch the first hour of that and then join us. That does it for us. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, The Vacationing, Lauren Brooks. We will see you guys next week.